Well, hello on this incredible Friday. I've been thinking about all of you all morning long. And so, after I got back from my exercise and got myself together, I was like, I am going to go live with this incredible download that I've gotten. I've been marinating on it over the last few days. And so that's one of the reasons why I listed this live as I'm coming in hot. And I just really have such a huge heart for women who know they are being called to a higher level to do more, to show up greater. And I want to encourage that. I want to inspire that. There's a certain community of women that I know need to be served well. It's a community of women that you're not on the run or escape from what you're doing. You know what success looks like fully, but you have reached a point where you recognize a pivot is necessary. And because you understand what it means and what it feels like and what responsibility comes along with being at a leadership table, you also understand that you can't be flip about this shift, that you need to be very intentional, strategic about how you're going to make this pivot towards fulfillment that is wooing you in this season. And so, as I've been thinking about you and thinking about where you are in your career and thinking about the choices and decisions that you're up against with stepping into entrepreneurship, I wanted to just come on and really unpack that journey a little bit, unpack the corporate to entrepreneur journey so that you could begin to realize the possibility of betting on yourself and what can happen for you as you begin to open your thought, mind, and heart to do that. So when I say coming in hot, I'm always looking for acronyms. I'm always looking for meaning because I want things to stick. But when I think about coming in hot, I think about a high opportunity time. And that is what I sense right now. For those of you who can sense the nudge that's happening inside of you, that this is absolutely a high opportunity time. And let me tell you what I mean by high opportunity. I believe that we have reached a point where opportunities are great. And if you would make yourself available in this season, if you would give yourself permission in this season, you will discover that the window of opportunity is absolutely open for you. It doesn't matter how much success you have achieved, you have not arrived to your highest and you have not evolved to become your best. And so that means that there is more in it for you. And in this hot moment, this high opportunity time, I want to reassure you that the window of opportunity is absolutely open for you. The second thing that I want you to begin to accept is that the pivot is not going to be without some discovery. You are going to recognize that there is a challenge in front of you to learn something, to do things differently. And so, because of that, the opportunity that the window presents to you is going to have a challenge in front of you that you can persevere through using all of the great experience that you've developed throughout your entire career. The tables that you sit at, you're able to sit there and you're able to thrive there, and you know what strategy looks like because you've worked that muscle. But this experience that you're being called to when you're doing that corporate to entrepreneur journey feels a little bit different. And that causes you to have a little bit of pause because of the challenge that you sense with making the pivot. So not only is the window of opportunity open, but there is a challenge there. And I'm going to talk about the journey to persevering through that challenge. But on the other side, on the other side of your persevere, on the other side of your evolution, of your stretch, of your becoming, is a future. And that future has everything in it that you absolutely want. It has everything that you've been desiring. It has everything that you've been dreaming about. It has all of the satisfaction and fulfillment that you feel is missing in this experience that you're living in every day. Now, you may say, Denise, how do you know this? I have talked to too many brilliant, capable women that feel stuck in a maybe later zone. So they can begin to recognize what they sense and what they desire, but they keep pushing it away and saying to themselves, maybe later. And I want you to know that that push off, that delay is costing you. Pushing off what you want now, what you desire in this season is costing you. And the thing that it is costing you, it is costing you your purpose. It is costing you your peace. And it certainly is costing you your money, your potential money, your profits that are all waiting on your decision to say yes to what you sense. The funny thing about this is indecision is not you at all. You are a person that makes powerful decisions all day, from home to the office to the boardroom. You make powerful decisions all day. But for some reason, this choice about making a pivot from corporate to entrepreneur has brought you into this holding pattern that you are trying to find your way through and out of. And so, what I want you to know is that the choice and decision isn't the hard part. It's really allowing yourself to be available for the change and giving yourself permission to lean into the change and to discover what you truly are capable of if you would just stop circling around the idea and step into it. So I want to help you. I want to help you to really begin to understand what's possible for you. I want to help you to draw a line in the sand of this space of complacency, the space of comfort, and give yourself permission to really see what's on the other side. And so, I want to remind you, I'm not here to try to convince you to do something that you don't want to do. In fact, I am only here to call out the ones that know they have outgrown their comfort zone, that know that they are sensing that corporate isn't it for them anymore, and that you're meant for something more. And that something more is launching a business. This is your turning point. Now, I mentioned at the beginning how I have been noodling on this corporate to entrepreneur journey. I think one of the things I posted recently was that I didn't recognize that in order for me to accelerate this year, I was going to have to spend a great deal of time getting things aligned. And so for the first 3 months of this year, I have been dedicated to really studying and understanding the journey that I took, how I was able to do it, and what I believe is going to help accelerate that for other women that will follow and make that journey from corporate to entrepreneur. And it really is a journey of becoming, it's a journey of establishing yourself, it's a journey of seeing yourself in a new and improved way. It's a journey of allowing yourself to stretch and to grow and to truly become. And so I was listening to a podcast the other morning, and they were talking about the process of change. And as I started listening to that process of change, I could relate that to the corporate to entrepreneur journey. And I thought to myself, this really is more than just launching a business. This journey of corporate to entrepreneur absolutely has a business involved with it. But the way that I curate this experience for the clients that I work with is I have to satisfy your hunger and desire for satisfaction and fulfillment. Because for you, you have built a career. You have absolutely built a career that most people marvel at. You have allowed yourself to get to the point where you're making strong income. Your compensation is strong. You have packages. You don't just have salaries. You have packages. You have built a lifestyle that you have become accustomed to. And so, as a result of that, this stretch that you feel is more than just a next level promotion. This stretch that you feel is coming from your desire to be significant. And that desire to be significant is a further extension of the lifelong career and journey that you've been on. It's just evolving in a new way. And so, because of that, because it really is about shifting from success to significance, it's about going from comfort to clarity, and it's ultimately about going from corporate to entrepreneur. We are going to take that change journey just like you would in other areas. And so, what I tried to think through and what I tried to process through is if it is a corporate to entrepreneur journey of change, of evolving and becoming, what does that really look like? Because if you are going to bet on yourself, if you are going to really come to the table and say, I know what I have, I know what I make, I know what I deserve, I know how I live, and you're really going to wager that to bet on yourself, then you really need to understand more about that process so that you can feel good about it. So, the process of change really has four steps to it. The first one is we find ourselves in comfort. We're very comfortable. Regardless of what level you're at, you're very, very comfortable. And then the next step, when you start to stretch out of comfort, is you go into a fear zone. The fear zone is when you start having all these racing thoughts and these doubts. And many of us, we tip into the fear zone and then we come back to comfort. We tip into the fear zone and then we come back to comfort. We consider it and then we pull ourselves back. We think about it and then we pull ourselves back. But if we can persevere through the fear zone, we'll get to the point where we're learning. And once we learn something, we develop new skills, we develop a new acumen, we develop a new sense of understanding, identity, belonging, and all of those things that forces us to grow. And so I was like, okay, if this is the process, if this is the process for change, and I begin with what I have mastered. See, comfort equates to the fact that you have mastered the rules. You know the space, you've built the career, you're recognized, you're respected, and you're even rewarded. But when you start to sense that shifting within yourself, you begin to feel this restlessness. And you have a desire for more fulfillment, more freedom, and more purpose. And that is where I find most people can identify themselves as being. That is comfort. You're still comfortable, even though you may daydream about what can change in your life. You may daydream about how your life can shift. You are still comfortable. In this zone, the comfort zone feels absolutely safe, but for you, it's no longer satisfying. And that is the thing that causes the restlessness. It's no longer satisfying. But because your work is not a grind, because you know how to thrive in your career, you're really chasing down this notion or idea of should I pivot or should I stay? Because nothing's broken. Get that. Nothing is broken. Nothing is falling apart with what you're doing, how you're living. Everything is going well. And so the thought of putting that on the line feels risky. It feels very, very risky. But the stirring, the lack of satisfaction, the lack of fulfillment, it does not let up. Ask me how I know. Ask me how I know. If I take myself back just a few years when I began to get that sense, I could not find satisfaction. I tried to pursue a new role. I even tried to pursue this coveted role of COO. I tried all of the things, but that hunger and that thirst for satisfaction and fulfillment could not be fulfilled by another title. There had to be more in it for me. There had to be more in it for me to experience. And so the comfort zone is where you have mastered the rules. And the only way to get to the point of growing, the only way to take this becoming journey, the only way that you're going to develop from corporate to entrepreneur is absolutely to start a business, but it's more in it for you. There's more in it for you. There's satisfaction and fulfillment. So the key decision that you have to make when you find yourself in the comfort zone is you have to be willing to acknowledge the stirring that's happening within you and stop dismissing it. Stop ignoring it. The nudge, the push, the pull, the sleepless nights, all of the things that keep making you question the value, the worthiness of your time, the return, the investment, all of the things that keep coming up. You have to acknowledge that stirring. And then the action step is ask yourself, is this still aligned with who I am becoming? Is this still aligned with who I am becoming? Now, this takes your honesty. This takes your willingness to be honest about where you are. Now, when you get to the point that you're honest with yourself and you acknowledge the stirring and you begin to understand that it is not aligned with who you are becoming and who you desire to be and the fulfillment you want in your life, you are going to run smack dab into the fear zone. The fear zone is where doubt tries to talk you out of it. It tries to keep you safe. It tries to verify if you really believe in what it is that you sense. You know, one of the funniest stories and one of the strategies I actually use with my girls is when they tell me they want to do something, I oftentimes will try to talk them out of it. Because if I can talk you out of it, the depth of your desire to do it is not great. You have to be willing to persevere beyond doubt. And doubt is usually the thing that pushes us back into comfort. As soon as you consider something new, literally, as soon as you consider something new, fear kicks in with a ton of questions that you have to begin to reason through. Now, I was talking to a group of women last night, and here's what I told them. Fear's objective is to try to keep you safe and to reason through. It is not an intention to stop you. Hear me loud and clear. When fear comes in, it usually is an indication that what you're trying to do or pursue is bigger than just you and has more than just you in mind. So it usually is a call for you to get help, to get support, to make sure that this is not something you continue to pursue on your own. But when fear comes in, you don't want to wish it away. You want to keep those senses alive because they are the ones that are there to help you fine tune, judge, assess, and really begin to determine how to persevere. They are not coming up to stop you. They are coming up to prune you, to mold you, to shape you. Fear is a thing that is intended to bring out better in you, not make you run and hide. But many of us, in the face of these questions, these incredible questions that fear brings up, many of us in that particular instance will tuck our tail and rather not deal with it. So here are some of the questions that fear brings up. Of course, the initial question that comes from fear is, what if I fail? What if I fail? The second, what if I'm not ready? The third, what if I lose everything I've worked for? Now, those are some very penetrating questions. They will stop you in your tracks. And unless you can begin to persevere, not reason, not shrink, persevere beyond the fear, you will find yourself retreating back to comfort rather than rising and becoming who you need to be for your next. This is the season for us to rise and have audacity to go for the thing that not only will make an impact, but that literally will revolutionize our lives. And that revolution is so critically important for all of us. That revolution is the thing that is going to make a difference in you being fulfilled from the inside out. So here's the key decision that you have to make when fear starts to raise its head. You have to say yes anyway. You have to show up and discover more about that next step in the process anyway. The action is to make vision visible to yourself. When I used to talk about the success superpowers all the time, the very first one is see yourself successful. That's making the vision visible for yourself, making it real for yourself. You have to get in rooms. You have to speak your dream out loud, and you have to explore your idea. The question is not coming up to force you to retreat. The questions are coming up to force you to persevere. So let's just keep going in our journey. We started out in that comfort zone, the place where we've mastered the rules. The key decision that we had to make to get out of the comfort zone is to really acknowledge the stirring that we feel. Ask ourselves, is this still aligned with who I am? When we do that, we go full face into the fear zone. This is where the doubt tries to come in. Doubt is not there to distract you. It is there for you to begin to discern what's necessary to persevere. The key decision in the fear zone is say yes anyway. Persevere anyway. And the action is to make the vision visible for yourself. Get in the room, speak your dream out loud, and explore your decision. Now, the third layer, once you persevere through fear, is the learning zone. And this is where all of your senses are ignited again, where you grow, where you stretch, where you truly can become what you desire. And in this particular case, we are talking about going from corporate to entrepreneur. So this is where you rebuild with purpose. And this is where I love working with women who know how to achieve success. Their eyes stay on the prize. They are in hot pursuit of being able to accomplish and do the things that they know how to kick in and do. You know what it takes to achieve. You know what it takes to be successful. And this is where your confidence begins to return. This time, when you do this, it's anchored in clarity because of the perseverance that happens through fear. You start learning how to translate your skills, your experience, and your zone of genius into a viable, profitable business. That happens in the learning zone. That happens on the other side of fear. Okay. You begin to grow, you begin to refine, you begin to discover in the learning zone. And this is where your purpose, which is tied to your fulfillment, meets the process of you growing and becoming and establishing a business that will soon be your legacy. So, the key question, the key decision that has to happen in the discovery learning zone is you have to be willing to invest in mastery. You have to be willing to invest in mastery. This is the place where you're going to define what it is you do. How do you position your zone of genius in the marketplace, your niche? This is where you're going to define your services and your offers that reflect your true value and what you bring to the table. This is where you're going to build the foundation and the strategy of your business and support. Now, get this, if you've been paying attention, this happens on the other side of fear. It happens on the other side of fear. Fear attempts to keep you contained and safe. Persevering through fear gets you to the learning zone where you begin to discover what you truly are capable of doing, and you attract the success that you know how to achieve. The key is to invest in mastery. The key is to grow. And the key is to get support, and the key is to grow. The fourth zone, so there's been three. The first was comfort. That's where you started. That's where you mastered all the rules. The second was fear. That's where you persevered through all of the doubt. The third is learning. That's where you got the business going. You got past it. You got the business going. And the fourth zone is growth. And this is where you are becoming her. Who is her? She is the future version of you, the one that you saw successful. This is where you become her. This is where you find yourself walking in alignment with what is misaligned at the beginning. This is where fulfillment comes in. This is where satisfaction comes in. And it's not just about your business making money, it's about the impact, the difference that you're making. One of the things I hold true for all of my clients is I believe you can make impact and money. There are some very tactical things we need to do, but at the same time, I am looking for you to make money. I understand what it is to live a lifestyle that you absolutely love. I understand what it is to bet on yourself and desire to be able to achieve that on your own. I've taken that journey. And so I know what it means. And I know what it means to show up as a CEO and trust your voice and lead with purpose. I also know what it means to do it as a corporate leader. And I will tell you, they're different. The growth that is going to happen for you is that you will understand how to take responsibility for the full vision, not just the piece that's been allocated to you. This is who you've always been becoming. And so, this journey that you feel, this stretch that you feel, this nudge that you feel to lean into who you've always been becoming means that you have to make a choice and decision to give yourself fully to embodying this CEO identity. It is so important. I just talked about how in your everyday corporate world, you have reached levels in organizations where you are at the helm of a part of the vision. This is about you embodying the entire identity of what it is that you're looking to grow and develop. This is where you have to expand your visibility, serve your audience, and scale with intention. When I was able to understand more about the corporate to entrepreneur journey, it really set me up to be able to ensure that I fully supported my clients. It wasn't just about, can I help them start a business? Can I help them ring the register? I absolutely can do those things, but the full composite of the picture has to account for more than that. We can't leave you out. Fulfillment and satisfaction has to be a big part of this. You have to be doing something that is fulfilling to you so that you will wake up with the desire to remain committed to it. So as the persevering has to happen, you're in it to win it. That is the key part of the journey. And what I find is so many of us are being cute about our callings. We're waiting for some fictitious perfect time. We're waiting for some fictitious perfect plan. And all of this perfection is robbing you of this high opportunity time. You know, the high opportunity time comes with a degree of urgency that you have to step into and give yourself to and be available for. There's nothing cute about playing small. There's just absolutely nothing cute about playing small. And when we keep ourselves stuck in comfort, when we know we're being called to higher, is when we are playing small. And so, what I want to do is make this call to you. This call that says it is time for you to take a bold, strategic action towards launching the business you've been thinking about. I want to call you out and say that to you. I also want to invite you to make that one bold strategic action to be signing up for the Corporate to Entrepreneur Challenge that starts on Monday. The thing about me is I have all of you in mind. Not all of you, every person, but all of you, you, all of you. I want to make sure that the business you build is one that's going to satisfy you and fulfill you. I want to make sure that the business you build will make impact and income so that you can afford your lifestyle. I want to ensure the business you build leverages all of your experience, all of your value, and all that you see yourself accomplishing and doing. And so that is why I've curated an experience through the Corporate to Entrepreneur Challenge so that you can get a taste of what that means for you. You'll get clarity on the business you're meant to build so that you can stop second guessing and start making powerful decisions with purpose behind them. You'll start your shift in identity and value because you're not just a corporate professional. You're a CEO in the making, and it's time to start acting like one. You'll get a clear path forward. No more overwhelm, overthinking, or aimless action. You'll learn how to start your business right with focus, strategy, and vision. And I have to say, one of the things that I think is the biggest value for me working with my clients is the strategic acumen that I was able to develop in corporate makes me nimble and able to guide strategically my clients to the success they're desiring if they will give themselves to the process. If they will allow themselves to persevere through fear, we can accomplish some amazing things because I know about strategy and I know about implementation. That's one of the key things that's different about me is I'm not here to puff you up with a roadmap and send you on your way. I am here to help you implement it every step of the way. That includes the technology, that includes the branding, the marketing, all of those things are a part of what I bring to the table because my technology and e-commerce background, all of that was always layered in. That was always a factor of it. The other thing that you're going to get as a part of the challenge is you're going to learn more about my signature framework that really is about fulfillment and profit. You'll walk away understanding more about that three-part process that's going to help you build a business that honors your values and your financial goals. Hmm. Honors your values and your financial goals. I love that. And then finally, this is a jump starter to get your momentum going because nothing, absolutely nothing shifts your energy like finally taking action towards the business you know you are meant to lead. I've said it before that you have built a career that you can be absolutely proud of. That is one of the reasons why I don't talk about escaping your position. Your position was earned. You deserve your seat at the table. You experience success every day. So there is no reason to run. This is about expansion. This is about you making a intentional choice and decision to step into what you've been called to do, to launch this business that keeps you up at night because you can't stop thinking about the potential of it, the potential impact, the potential income, and the potential fulfillment. All of that is in it for you. I want to invite you to join me Monday. The Corporate to Entrepreneur Challenge kicks off on Monday. It's a 3-day experience. It's absolutely free. I show up live. I don't play pre-recorded videos. I am there engaging and sharing and pouring into you as if I'm doing a boardroom presentation, because the quality of the strategy is something that I want you to resonate with. I want you to liken it to those things that you've led yourself in your corporate role. And so I want to invite you to be a part of the Corporate to Entrepreneur Challenge. It starts Monday, and it's a 3-night experience. I would love to see you live in the room. The caption for this live has the link. www.jointhechallenge.live is where you can register. And I would love to get connected with you. I felt so great sharing this journey. It's one that is a principle that gets used across the board, but beginning to understand it in light of the corporate to entrepreneur journey is something that I really, really loved having that opportunity to share. So again, the challenge starts on Monday, and I would love to see you in the room. Thank you, and have a great day.